Ninja Steel, Super Steel, you're boring, no story. All your characters sure do suck. One more episode can't give a... I should be happy for the Christmas season, but all this year means is I have to review another episode of Super Steel. Granted, it really is the last one this time, but it's hard to get excited about something when you know nothing's gonna happen. Last year's holiday episode was by far the worst of that season, so I'm not the jolliest of Nicks, and I'm no saint. So let's try and get through this as painlessly as possible. Here's episode 22, The Poisey Show. Wait. Really? The episode prefaces itself with a new intro recounting the evil Madamodius and her nameless master being defeated by the Power Rangers and reintroducing Sledge as an outlaw. I thought they forgot about this plot entirely, but it seems they decided to save it for the Christmas episode, and I'm sure it'll be well worth it. The episode actually begins with Sledge, Wrench, and Poisandra coming back to the Warrior Dome to reclaim the Super Steel that Odious had stolen. But apparently, Sledge saw this as an opportunity to win points with his wife and brings a blindfolded Poisandra onto the Galaxy Warriors set. However, Poisandra is less than pleased with the trashed ship, but immediately turns around when Sledge explains he's going to give her her own show. And I'm already infinitely more interested in this plot than anything else done this season. Poisandra explodes with excitement and says she'll need some famous guests for her first show, so Sledge says he'll bring her the Power Rangers. While the bride begins planning her small screen debut, Sledge tells Wrench that he's really just getting the Rangers so we can take their power stars. Not sure how he knows about the stars, but I guess he's been keeping up with Galaxy Warriors. After the intro, the Rangers are seen loading up an SUV as Principal Hastings thanks them for delivering gifts to, charity. Calvin says they're happy to help, and as the principal leaves, Sarah comes in saying she's been texting Santa Claus so he can help them deliver the gifts. And what exactly is wrong with the car you guys are using? Preston comes in with a gift that Lee Vaden reads is from Wes, containing the transportal device from episode 10, and I am fighting back the urge to get excited about this. Seriously, Sledge coming back, and the promise of other Rangers in this episode? Who are you and what have you done with the real Super Steel? Anyway, Calvin plays a message disc that came with the gift, which is just a hologram of Wes saying they can now travel between dimensions. Can't wait to see how this team uses this incredibly unique and delicate power to their own selfish advantage, because what else am I supposed to think?
Hey look, the Nexus Prism, it's back!
What's it doing here?
Wow, thank goodness the Ninja Nexus Prism knew they were gonna need it. It's almost like having it leave in the last episode was a waste of time. Suddenly, Sledge appears in front of the Rangers with a monster called Snowfright, who freezes all the Rangers except Preston in the most hilarious way possible, turning them into snowmen. I would be mad that they used the same plot from Supercharge, but this is too good. The Magician steps toe-to-toe with the bounty outlaw, and as Sledge wails on Preston, the two accidentally open a portal, sending them to parts unknown. Meanwhile, Snowfright heads back to the ship, where she presents the Rangers and their power stars on an actual silver platter, and I can't help but laugh at how useless Odious actually was. The Rangers had their stars for 3 minutes before being immediately taken down by Sledge. Speaking of, Sledge and Preston fall out of the portal into an open field, with the Master getting the transportal device, and saying Preston won't ever get back to Earth unless he gives up his power star. The Blue Ranger stands his ground, and as Sledge is about to turn him into ash, a freaking pterodactyl scoops Preston up, flying off as Sledge immediately starts to panic. Back on the ship, the Poisey Show makes its on-air debut with the same audience from Galaxy Warriors, which I guess you can just turn off and on like a light switch. Poisandra decides to ask about the Rangers' love pentagon with Venema, and boy did I forget this was supposed to be a clip show. We've got enough here to do a movie. Do we really need to subject ourselves to this? Anyway, after recounting love stings, the Rangers say they weren't in love with Venema, which causes Poisandra to go on a rant about her husband not listening to her. This gives the Rangers the idea to turn Poisandra against Sledge by reminding her how terrible he is. The Power Rangers, ladies and gentlemen. What a perfect way to personify this team. Sarah, as the most terrible of all, offers to go first and begins telling the villainess about the way she and her fellow Rangers sabotaged their parents' relationship, but end on a happy melody, that way the audience doesn't notice how bad making waves really was. This somehow causes Poisandra to say that Sledge doesn't really care about her feelings, and Brody goads the team to continue making this woman feel bad about her marriage. I know she's supposed to be the bad guy, but I waited 2 seasons to see her wedding. I want my happy ending, it. Back in the Land Before Time, Preston is dropped from the sky by the flying reptile and is caught by none other than the Stegosaurus Dino-Charged Blue Ranger, Koda. Also, Yoshi Sudarso, Peter Sudarso's brother, just in case anybody needed reminding. Koda asks Preston how he ended up in his time, and when the ninja mentions Sledge, Koda goes on guard and offers to help Preston get back to his own time before the Rangers call a brotherly It's Morphin Time. After a word from their sponsors, the Poisey Show comes back with special guests Calvin and Haley. The Yellow Ranger gives up how he forgot about his anniversary with White and how he lied about it, much to Poisandra's confusing shock. Wouldn't she want juicy gossip like this on her talk reality space show? Calvin then says how lying was dumb, conveniently leaving out that one time he told the truth and how well that ended up going. The hostess then begins crying about how Sledge lies to her a lot, which kinda makes sense given how that was a plot device in Dino Charge. It's nice to see continuity again. Back in time, we catch back up with Sledge, who says that he needs to find the Blue Ranger, but he should be more careful what he wishes for as both Blues attack the monster. Koda says he'll destroy Sledge, but is almost immediately dismissed by the bounty outlaw. Leaving Preston alone. But not for very long, as a T-Rex comes up behind Sledge and chases the monster away, leaving the transportal device in the dust. Preston backs away slowly from the giant reptile, as you do, but Koda introduces the vicious monster as his pet Spot. Or something. Give me a break, I don't speak caveman. The Blue duo pick up the machine, opening a portal that leads to the ship, and as they leap through it, a nearby Sledge is able to follow them through just before it closes. And we're back. And we're back to the Poisey Show, as Sledge interrogates Wrench about where the Rangers ran off to so he can get the last Power Star, but Poisandra hears him and starts berating the bounty hunter, Outlaw! Dang it, Outlaw! It's a hard habit to break, okay? The Rangers egg on the couple to keep fighting as Preston and Koda take down Wrench and help the other Rangers escape. The others morph before the team vanishes in a puff of smoke as Sledge sends hordes of Basher bots after them. Brody leads his team through the Warrior Dome subsystems and talks to someone in his communicator before sending the Rangers one by one into the garbage chute, which ends up landing them in Santa's sleigh. Why does Santa need a direct line to the Power Rangers? I probably should have asked that back in Dino Charge. Back on Earth, Santa drops all the Rangers except Koda on the ground, not that it takes very long for Brody to call on his Lionfire armor and slash Snowfright in half. Back on set, Wrench presents the Gigantify Ray for Sledge to use on Snowfright, and as they do, neither of them notice Koda leaving a present for Christmas in the background. After Snowfright grows, the team calls on the Megathrone, which is turned into a giant snowman, but the team is able to break through the ice with their cannons and, run into Snowfright to get free, calling on the last final attack and the end of Ninja's winning. Back on the ship, Wrench brings the still-wrapped gift on stage, where Sledge takes credit for it and gives it to Poisandra to open, but before she can, Poisandra reads the card that says the gift is from the Rangers and begins to slap at Sledge.
You and all! You lied again!
Poisey, give me a second.
By an asteroid! Since you love them so much!
Oh, how sweet! Look what they got you!
It's a bomb!
Huh. I wonder if you guys are actually dead this time. Back at the school, the Rangers laugh at the explosion, and Preston tells Koda that he's a good friend, but Koda says Rangers are more than friends, they're family, before presenting the team with presents he got from Santa. And the episode ends with Koda opening a portal to his time and inviting the Ninja Rangers to his cave for the holiday. I kinda hope they all got trampled by mammoths. This episode is not great, but it's not terrible. I don't think the problem here is the episode itself. Sledge and crew coming back was great, and added some much needed depth to the villains in this show. I particularly like how powerful Sledge comes across. It's way more threatening than I remember him ever being in Dino Charge. I also like how well the idea for the Poisey Show is used. They have one episode and establish an entirely different style of TV with the Jerry Springer-esque talk show rather than the pro wrestling TV show that was never utilized correctly. And that leads me to the biggest criticism I have with this episode, which is it highlighted everything wrong with Ninja Steel over the seasons and reminded me how good Dino Charge was, to the point where I was wondering why I wasn't watching one of those Christmas specials right now. I know the Dino Charge villains had 2 seasons to build up these characters, but at this point, so did Ninja Steel. So I don't think it's unfair to say introducing them at the beginning and promising to do something exciting with them was a misstep. When the show I'm watching makes me think I could be watching a better show, that's not a good thing. The clips used were also dramatically mishandled this time around. We take so long to get to the clip show show, I honestly didn't think it was gonna happen, and we go through it so fast it may as well have not been there at all. We look at 3 episodes. One was bad, one was worse, and one that was actually okay. I still like episode 2, even though it lied to me about how good this season was gonna be. But overall, I say this episode tried to do too much with the short runtime and is more disappointing than anything else. This Christmas, I'm leaving this episode out in the snow. It isn't as bad as last year's, but I still can't say I recommend this episode for naughty or for nice. All I want for Christmas is for Beast Morphers to not suck. I'm Nick, aka IronBat1993, and may the power protect you. So long, Ninja Steel. Merry Christmas, you animal, and a happy new season.